Um, Good morning. So as most of you know, I went on a missions trip to Harmon's, Jamaica last winter, and I wanted to thank both the church and the individuals who contributed financially to allow this to be possible. So our main objective was to complete several construction projects to provide homes for the locals in need. We also fixed the roof for one of the churches that this organization had built a couple years ago. And throughout that whole time, we had teams going out ministering to the locals, whether that be in the infirmary, visiting the homes of the elderly, or going to the preschool. And we also would go on faith walks to just minister to and talk to whoever would listen to us. So this week was packed full of amazing stories, and I would love to be able to tell them all, but unfortunately that would take all day. So we're going to focus on, I think, two major events that display both the blessings we were able to bestow on the people of Harmons and how they helped me grow with the Lord in the process. And this all started way before I went to Jamaica, before I even knew I was going to Jamaica. The entire thing greatly humbled me. I think that was the main thing that I learned this entire time, because once I decided to go on missions, I had a plan for just about everything, and approximately 0 of those worked out the way I thought they would. That's going to be a recurring theme this entire time. I thought I was really being smart there, and that did not work out. And my first big indication was the location. The missions group allows you to choose your 3 top choices of where you want to go, what you want to do, and Jamaica was not on that list. I barely looked over it in the flyer. I saw construction, and I was like, I don't know how to do that. Let's move on. So when I got the email that they were sending me there, I had a bit of a conundrum for a second where I was like, why? I don't. So I had to be at peace with that for a second, and then I had a plan for the fundraising. They had set up certain things that we were supposed to do, and this is what works. So I did all of those, and I thought I was set, and I was wrong. So we start approaching one of my last deadlines, and I've still got over a third of the bill left to pay, and I was really struggling to trust the process. I remember one particular night where I was praying for a really long time because I was like, I thought this is where you wanted me to go. I was so certain that this is what I'm supposed to do, but I don't understand why I'm having all these troubles making it happen. So I wake up the next day, I go to work, I'm trying not to think about it too much, and then I get a call from my grandparents because they need help navigating the website because they want to give me a donation. And then a couple hours later, I get a call from my mom, almost the same thing, but she's talked to my uncle, and he's going to do the same thing. And I was like, all right, this is good. I can figure out how to cover the rest. I'm almost there. We're done. But then I came up here over the winter, and there were so many people, individuals in this church, who went out of their way to slip me some money to help me pay for this trip, to the point where I had too much, or I thought I had too much. And that's when our director sent out an email that we could also check an extra bag full of donations. And I was like, okay, this is good. This is great. So I was able to get over 100 articles of clothing, plus a bunch of medical supplies that the village had requested. And that was just a phenomenal experience to watch God work in real time to help me not only bring my own hands to work to Harmon's, Jamaica, but also bring that full suitcase full of stuff that they needed. So, and thank you again for choosing to act to make that possible. So, I finally get there, and as all of my plans are starting to go downhill, think this entire time I just begun to learn how to accept all of that failing and just go with the flow. This was the new thing. I'm going to try to go with the flow, and I'm still going to try to make decisions, but if they go wrong, that's going to be okay. And I think nothing exemplifies that experience more than our third official day at work. So that would be the fourth. Oh, I went too far. My bad. Wait. Okay. No. No. Oh well, that's okay. I can't. Yeah, it would be like day 4, I think. Yeah. But no. Does it start with it? Yeah, okay, I got it. Yay. So our third official work day. Now each night we got to request where we wanted to work out of a certain list of options, and they'd heavily encourage thinking about it and praying about it the day prior. And on day 1, they'd given us a list of all these things that we could do. And I decided I was absolutely not going to work at the school. That was my limit. I was not going to do that. I was putting my foot down, and I'm sure you can guess how that worked out because I'm obviously at the school. Our second work day rolls around. I'm working on the foundation. It's going great. And for some reason, I just can't stop thinking about this opportunity to volunteer at the school. And I keep dismissing it. I'm trying to ignore it, but that night it comes to the point where I was like, okay, this is definitely not my idea. So, and I don't think it's a good idea, but okay, we're gonna try it out. And I told that to my group leader. I was like, not too sure about this, but I think this is what I have to do. So at that point, I talked to several people who'd done it the day prior, and I kind of found out that the oldest group was the easiest. You know, they were old enough to do things by themselves. They were well behaved. Great. The youngest group was like second best because they were like 2. They were kind of quiet and shy, so you did have to help them more, but it wasn't that bad. And the middle group was horrible. Like they were energetic, rowdy, would not stay in their seats the entire time, and I was like, okay, well, I definitely don't want to do that, so obviously I ended up doing that. They were bouncing off the walls the entire day. I got back. I think this was the most exhausting day I worked at, which is saying a lot. And I don't think I realized until the next day or two why I had to do that, because I was like, I mean, it went well. The kids seemed to have a good time. I made it through, but like, I still felt like somebody else could have done a better job. But I had a talk with my partner, Jerry, who was with me that day, and as we kind of went over our memories of what happened, I kind of realized in a better way how much the kids really appreciated us being there. They were bouncing off the walls because they were just so excited to have us in the room with them, and they all wanted us to help them color and help them paint, and we went and played with balloons outside. And I think this day in particular really settled my purpose for being there, because I wasn't supposed to be there to feel good myself. I was there to give the best of myself to the village of Harmons and to bring them aid and joy and love, regardless of what it cost me and regardless of how that made me feel comfortable. And when I look back today on what we did, I hardly remember heat, any exhaustion or soreness from working, that's all secondary. When I look back now, what I remember is how happy that family looked when we handed them the keys to their new house. And how, and how happy the patients were at the infirmary when we came over there to sing Amazing Grace to them. And I remember the smiles that we put on people's faces when we gifted them a new Bible. And that's why when I first came back and people started asking me how things were, and I tried to start every time by saying this was the most fulfilled I'd ever felt in my entire life. This was the week, for the first time in my 19 years, where I had absolute 100% certainty that I was in the exact right place where God wanted me to be, doing exactly what He wanted me to do, and bringing honor to Him the entire time. So I am going to apply to go to missions next year. I'll probably put Jamaica on the list, but who really knows what's going to happen? And we're just going to roll with it. So, thank you.